Have you ever felt that no matter how much effort you put into your life, something invisible seems to block your progress? That the money you earn flows away too quickly, and opportunities approach you but never truly arrive? Imagine for a moment that the reason is not in your skills, not in your effort, but in the silent energy around you, in the very entrance of your home. This may sound unusual at first, but stay with me. Your door is not just wood, metal, or glass. It is a threshold, a boundary between your inner world and the universe itself, a point where energy enters and leaves. And what if I told you that by changing just one simple thing at this entrance, you could completely transform the flow of abundance in your life? Right now, as you listen, your mind may be trying to decide if this is just another idea, or if it might actually hold a secret you have been searching for all along. Deep down, you know that life is not only about logic or effort. You have felt those moments when a coincidence seemed too perfect, when a chance meeting or an unexpected event changed everything. That is not chance. It is energy responding to vibration. And your home, your door, the very threshold you cross every single day, is constantly broadcasting a message to the universe about what you are ready to receive. Think about it. Every time you walk through that door, you are unconsciously declaring something to life itself. If the space is dull, blocked, or ignored, the universe reads your silence as hesitation, as unreadiness. But when you consciously place the right symbol there, something shifts. It is like whispering to the universe with absolute clarity, I am ready, I am open, I welcome prosperity into my life. The most extraordinary part is that this does not require wealth, complicated rituals, or years of study. It only requires your intention, and a gesture so simple that you will wonder why no one ever told you before. Stay with me until the end, because today you will not only discover what object you can place on your door to unlock prosperity, but also why this act holds such incredible power. By the time you finish this video, you will see your home, your life, and your relationship with abundance in a completely new way. What you are about to learn could be the key that turns your everyday entrance into a powerful magnet for opportunities, wealth, and harmony. The only question is, are you ready to cross that threshold? Have you ever stopped at your own front door and felt, even for a brief second, that it is more than just an object you pass through every day? That maybe it carries a weight, a hidden language, a silent story that speaks about who you are and what you are open to receiving? Think carefully. How many times have you rushed in and out without ever noticing the energy that surrounds that threshold? We are taught to look for answers in work, in effort, in strategies, but rarely are we taught to look at the space where our life truly begins and ends each day, the entrance to our home. What if that door is not only wood and paint, but a messenger, reflecting back to the universe what you unconsciously believe you deserve? Pause for a moment and imagine this. Two people with equal skills, equal effort, and equal intelligence. One attracts constant opportunities, doors open with ease, prosperity flows almost naturally. The other struggles endlessly, working harder and harder, but everything seems to slip through their fingers. What makes the difference? Is it luck? Is it chance? Or could it be that one of them unknowingly allows energy to enter freely, while the other unknowingly blocks it at the very threshold of their life? This is not superstition. It is the forgotten wisdom of ancient traditions that understood something we have ignored. Space speaks. Energy listens. The door is not only a material passage, but a psychological and spiritual one. When you think about it, the door is the only place in your home that touches both the outside and the inside. It is the exact line where your personal universe meets the greater universe. What you choose to place, to display, to ignore, or to neglect there is not a detail. It is a statement. Have you ever noticed how in many cultures the doorway has always been sacred? From protective charms in villages, to inscriptions above gates, to flowers, candles, or even bells, human beings have always known that the threshold is powerful. Why then do we today treat it as meaningless, forgetting that every time we walk in or out, we are symbolically stepping into or out of our own destiny? Think of the last time you came home tired, burdened with problems, and crossed that door. Did you feel relief? Or did you carry the same heaviness inside with you? The entrance does not only receive your body, it receives your emotions, your fears, your hopes. And just like the subconscious mind absorbs messages without words, your home absorbs the state of your threshold. If it is neglected, blocked, or lifeless, the message is one of limitation. If it is cared for, honored, and infused with clear intention, the message is one of openness. Which of these messages have you been sending without realizing? History is full of signs that the ancients knew this truth. In Egypt, doorways were marked with sacred symbols to guard the flow of life. In China, the art of Feng Shui called the door the mouth of Qi, the place where energy feeds the home. In Rome, offerings were placed to Janus, the god of doors and transitions, before entering a new year. Why did so many civilizations distant from each other all revere the same point, the threshold? Because they understood that every entrance is a portal, and every portal shapes destiny. If they knew, why should we ignore it? Here is the conflict. We live in a world obsessed with external action. We are told that if we just work harder, push further, and plan better, results will come. Yet many people prove this wrong every single day. They work tirelessly and remain stuck. Meanwhile, others who align themselves with invisible laws flow effortlessly into prosperity. The invisible is not weaker than the visible. It is stronger. And the door is where invisible energy first knocks. The question is, are you opening it or are you closing it without even noticing? Imagine a person whose doorway is cluttered, dark, or lifeless. Each time they pass, they reinforce a silent pattern of chaos and disconnection. Without words, they are saying, I am not ready, I am not open. Now imagine another person whose doorway shines with order, intention, and a symbol of welcome. Each step they take reinforces a vibration of openness. Without words, they are declaring, I allow abundance, I receive with gratitude. Which reality would the universe mirror back? This is not mystical poetry. It is psychology, energy, and ancient wisdom converging. Life reflects what we radiate, and the door is where that radiance is declared daily. But here lies another question. If it is so simple, why do so few people practice it? The answer is both unsettling and empowering. It is unsettling because it reveals how disconnected we have become from our own spaces, from the dialogue between matter and spirit. But it is empowering because it means that the change is within your reach right now, with a choice as small as reimagining your threshold. You do not need wealth to begin. You do not need permission. You only need awareness. The greatest changes often come not from massive revolutions, but from the smallest conscious acts. As you reflect, ask yourself, how does your door look right now? Is it welcoming or does it repel without you knowing? Does it inspire you or does it blend into nothingness? These questions are uncomfortable because they hold a mirror up to the parts of our life we overlook. And yet, it is only by facing them that we can unlock the hidden current of prosperity that has been waiting to flow. Could it be that the missing link between your effort and your results has been right there in front of you, every single day? This is the invitation, to begin seeing your entrance as more than a passage, to treat it as a key, as a symbol, as the point where your inner state and outer destiny meet. Because when you start to see the invisible, the visible begins to transform. And as you listen further, you will discover not only why the door is the most important space in your home, but also what you can do, in a single conscious act, to turn it into a magnet for abundance. That secret is coming, but before we get there, let this question echo in your mind. If your door is the voice of your destiny, what has it been saying until now? Have you ever wondered why some homes feel instantly inviting, while others seem to drain your energy the moment you step inside? Think about it. You walk into a place and without even knowing why, you either feel safe and uplifted or uncomfortable and heavy. This is not random, it is energy. And the most powerful point where this energy is received or rejected is at the entrance. The doorway is not just a passage, it is the mouth of your home, the place where life itself enters. What you allow or deny there reflects directly in the flow of abundance and opportunities in your life. Now pause for a moment and imagine your own door as if it could speak. What would it say about you? Would it whisper, welcome, I am open, I am ready for the best? Or would it confess, I am neglected, forgotten, closed to what could come? Many people spend years chasing success, but they ignore the first space the universe looks at when sending blessings, the entrance to their own home. It is like expecting guests without ever unlocking the door. No matter how much they knock, you will not hear them. The same is true for prosperity. You may dream, work and pray, but if the entrance is blocked, the flow cannot pass. Think about a time you felt stuck in life. You tried everything, but nothing seemed to move. Could it be that your outer world was reflecting the blocked energy of your environment? One story that illustrates this comes from a woman who always struggled financially despite her endless effort. Her door was surrounded by clutter, old shoes, broken objects, dust. She never paid attention until someone explained to her the importance of the threshold. She cleared it, cleaned it, placed a simple flower there with intention. Within weeks, unexpected opportunities appeared. A new job offer, help from people she had not spoken to in years, and even financial relief from an old debt being paid back. Was it magic? No, it was alignment. The door became a clear channel again, and the universe responded. Notice how in every culture, doorways were never neutral. In old villages, people hung protective charms to guard their homes. In temples, doorways were decorated with sacred symbols before anyone entered. Even today, in some traditions, families light candles or place plants at the entrance to welcome good fortune. Why? Because the ancients knew what modern minds forget. Energy enters where intention is placed. When the door is alive with purpose, life responds with abundance. But here is the conflict. Most people treat their entrance as an afterthought. Shoes scattered around, old mats, dark corners, things they no longer notice. Without realizing it, they send a message of indifference to the universe. And life answers in the same tone. Opportunities remain indifferent. Yet when you consciously transform this space, something extraordinary happens. You do not just decorate, you declare. You do not just clean, you clear the path for new realities to walk in. The door becomes more than wood and paint. It becomes the first chapter of your destiny, written daily. So let me ask you directly, what is your doorway declaring right now? Is it saying you are ready for prosperity or that you are too distracted to receive it? This question matters because what you discover in the next part will show you exactly what to place there to awaken a force that has been respected for centuries as a magnet of wealth and harmony. But before we step into that revelation, I want you to do something powerful. If you truly want to signal to life that you are prepared, write this sentence in the comments right now. I won't tell anyone. Yes, keep it as a secret between you, your doorway, and the universe. Writing it is more than just words. It is a declaration, a silent pact that you are ready for what is coming. And one more thing. Somewhere in the corner of this screen, there is a red button. Only the chosen will click it. Only those who are ready to step beyond what is ordinary will take that action. If you feel that pull inside, if you know you are ready to open your own door to prosperity, click the red button and subscribe to this channel. Consider it your first conscious act of alignment. The chosen always recognize the sign when it appears, and this is yours. Now prepare yourself, because in the next part we will unveil the ancient element that transforms any doorway into a living beacon of abundance. For centuries, humanity has turned to symbols to communicate with the invisible. When words failed, objects spoke. And among all the elements chosen to invite prosperity, one has quietly traveled across cultures and time: cinnamon. At first glance, it may seem ordinary, a simple spice sitting on a kitchen shelf. But beneath its humble appearance hides a story of power, respect, and mystical connection. Civilizations separated by oceans and centuries somehow reached the same conclusion. Cinnamon is not only for flavor, it is a living emblem of abundance. Why has this one plant carried such significance through history? In ancient Egypt, cinnamon was valued as highly as gold. It was offered in temples, burned as incense, and used in rituals meant to honor the gods. In China, it was treasured in traditional medicine, not only for healing the body, but for awakening energy. In Europe during the Middle Ages, it was so rare and precious that only royalty could afford it, and its presence symbolized status and prosperity. What could explain this universal reverence? Could it be that people across ages sensed its energetic vibration, its ability to shift both mind and spirit toward a state of receptivity? Now pause and think about this. How many things in your life seem ordinary only because you see them every day? What if something as small as cinnamon has always held a secret you never stopped to notice? Could it be that its power was never about its physical form, but about the resonance it awakens inside you when used with intention? The fragrance of cinnamon is not just a smell, It reaches deep into the brain, triggering areas linked to memory, safety, and even pleasure. Psychologists know that when we feel safe and comforted, our mind relaxes, our vibration rises, and we naturally align with states that attract more of what we desire. That simple feeling of warmth and sweetness is more than comfort, it is alignment. And when placed at your doorway, this alignment becomes a message to the universe. Here lives someone ready to welcome prosperity with joy. But let us not forget another dimension. In the language of the elements, cinnamon belongs to fire. Fire symbolizes movement, transformation, passion, and the breaking of stagnation. Have you ever felt like your life was stuck? Like no matter what you tried, nothing advanced? That is stagnant energy. Cinnamon, as a fiery essence, stirs that energy, ignites it, and opens pathways that seemed closed. It is like striking a match in a dark room. The light spreads instantly, and what was hidden becomes visible. So ask yourself now, what part of your life feels stagnant? Where do you feel you have been waiting too long for change? Could it be that the missing spark is not more effort, but a shift in the vibration you carry into your daily space? Stories of cinnamon's power are not just ancient myths. In modern times, people continue to experience its subtle influence. One man shared how he placed cinnamon sticks in a small glass near his entrance without expecting much. Days later, he received a job offer he had been waiting for months, along with a sudden sense of calm when entering his home. Another person described how the smell of cinnamon burning in incense brought her clarity during a time of financial confusion, helping her make decisions that changed her path completely. These may sound like coincidences, but when coincidences repeat across cultures and centuries, we begin to recognize patterns that are far from accidental. If you think deeply, why do you believe the simplest things often carry the greatest power? Could it be because simplicity itself allows the universe to flow without resistance? Cinnamon is not rare anymore, yet its symbolism has not weakened. In fact, its accessibility makes it a perfect reminder that prosperity does not need to be complicated. It needs to be invited, allowed, and felt. And here lies an even deeper mystery. Cinnamon does not only symbolize wealth, it also represents continuity. Unlike flowers that wither quickly, a cinnamon stick remains strong and durable, holding its form and fragrance for months. What message does that send? That prosperity is not meant to be a fleeting guest, but a stable presence. When you place cinnamon with intention, you are not only inviting money, you are declaring your readiness for lasting abundance. So let me ask you, when you think of wealth, do you secretly fear it will disappear as fast as it comes? Could it be that the universe mirrors this fear, keeping blessings at a distance? What would happen if you shifted your vibration to one of permanence, showing through a simple symbol like cinnamon that you are ready not only to receive, but to sustain prosperity? Cinnamon also teaches us another lesson: respect for nature's hidden wisdom. It comes from the inner bark of a tree, something that grows slowly, silently under specific conditions. It reminds us that prosperity, like the tree, requires patience and alignment with the right environment. You cannot rush it, but you can prepare for it, and when the time is right, the gift appears. Isn't it interesting how a small piece of bark can hold such a universal truth? Now picture your own doorway with cinnamon placed there, not just as decoration, but as a conscious act. Each time you cross, you are reminded, I welcome, I allow, I sustain. Each glance at it is a conversation between you and the universe, silent but powerful. Could it be that this daily reminder is what keeps your mind and heart tuned to prosperity, even when the outside world seems uncertain? But there is still something you may be wondering. Why cinnamon and not something else? The answer is both practical and mystical. Practical because it is available, simple and clear in its symbolism. Mystical because its vibration has been recognized again and again as a carrier of warmth, protection, and expansion. When you use it with awareness, you join a lineage of seekers across history who trusted nature's signs and found harmony in return. So here is the real question. Will you continue to walk past your door as if it were nothing, or will you transform it into a gateway alive with meaning? The choice is yours. Cinnamon has always been there, waiting. The ancients knew its value, the modern world has forgotten, and now you stand at the same threshold. What message will your doorway send to life tomorrow? As you hold on to this thought, prepare yourself, because in the next part, you will discover not only how to use cinnamon, but the exact way to awaken its deepest power. It is not enough to place it, you must activate it. And that activation, once understood, may be the turning point you have been waiting for. Until then, ask yourself, if prosperity has been knocking all this time, have you been listening? Before cinnamon can truly act as a key for prosperity, it must be awakened with intention. Without that, it is only a piece of bark, a forgotten object at the door. But with the right preparation, it becomes a living message. Think of it like a seed. A seed does not grow by itself if it is left on a table. It needs the right soil, the right water, the right care. Cinnamon is the same. It needs your energy, your clarity, your choice. That is where ritual comes in, not as superstition, but as a conscious way of programming both your mind and your environment. Rituals exist in every culture because humans instinctively knew that small actions with focus can change entire destinies. The first step is choosing the right cinnamon. In a world where millions of tons of spices are traded every year, the quality of what you select matters. Studies show that more than 70% of global cinnamon supply comes from Indonesia, China, Vietnam, and Sri Lanka. Yet not all of it carries the same strength. Thick, whole sticks with a strong fragrance are the ones that hold the greatest energetic presence. Choosing carefully is more than preference. It is respect. Just as you would not build a sacred space with broken stones, you should not build an energetic gateway with something lifeless. Once chosen, cleansing becomes essential. Think of how many hands an object has passed through before reaching you. Dust, packaging, transport, all of this carries invisible imprints. That is why ancient traditions always purified objects before use. A simple way is to pass the cinnamon through incense smoke, sage, or even the gentle flame of a candle. This act is not about superstition, it is about starting fresh, clearing the object so that only your intention remains. Many psychological studies confirm that rituals, even simple ones, reduce anxiety and increase focus. By cleansing cinnamon, you are not only purifying the object, you are aligning your own mind with clarity. Now picture yourself holding the cinnamon stick in your hands. Your breath slows, your thoughts settle. In that silence, imagine the life you want to build. Not vague wishes, but clear images. Bills paid with ease, doors opening to new opportunities, peace in knowing that you are supported. Neuroscience shows that the brain cannot distinguish between imagination, vividly felt, and real experience. When you imagine wealth flowing with emotion, your nervous system reacts as if it is already happening. You begin to radiate the vibration that attracts similar experiences. This is why intention matters so deeply. One story that illustrates this comes from a woman in Brazil. Struggling for years with financial instability, she decided to try a simple ritual with cinnamon. She cleansed it, held it in her hands, and declared out loud her vision for stability and opportunities. She tied it with a red ribbon and placed it at her entrance. Weeks later, she was offered a partnership in a business that doubled her income. Was it coincidence? Or was it the alignment of her mind, her actions, and her space finally working together? She herself said that beyond the money, what changed most was her sense of control. She no longer felt helpless, but connected to something greater. This brings us to the red ribbon. Across cultures, red is the color of life force, passion, and protection. In China, red is used in celebrations because it attracts joy and fortune. In India, brides wear red for strength and prosperity. In parts of Eastern Europe, red threads are tied around wrists to ward off negativity. When you bind your cinnamon with a red ribbon, you are not just decorating it, you are sealing your intention with a universal symbol of vitality. Psychologists would describe it as anchoring. Every time you see the red ribbon, it reminds your subconscious of your decision to open the door to abundance. Imagine tying the knot slowly, consciously. You can tie 1 or 3, each one with a silent thought, past, present, future, united in harmony. These knots are not only on the ribbon, they are tied in your own psyche, weaving your scattered desires into one clear direction. How often do we say we want change, but our actions contradict our wishes? This ritual eliminates that split. It aligns words, feelings, and actions into a single channel. And the universe always Listening responds to clarity faster than to confusion. Once complete, placement is everything. The entrance is the ideal point, but not just anywhere. Placing the cinnamon on the inside of your door ensures you see it daily. It can hang from the handle, rest discreetly on a shelf, or even be taped gently to the side. The key is visibility. Behavioral science shows that visual cues shape habits. Each time you see the cinnamon, your mind recalls your choice, reinforcing it. You begin to live with awareness, and awareness multiplies results. What seems like a simple decoration becomes a psychological tool, training you to think, act, and feel in alignment with abundance. Think of it as a silent contract. Each time you leave home, you pass by the cinnamon and declare with your presence, "I step into the world ready to receive." Each time you return, you cross back and say, "I bring prosperity into my space." Over days, weeks, months, this repetition programs your subconscious more strongly than any words alone. Studies in neuroscience reveal that repetition is what rewires the brain. A single act may inspire, but repeated acts create transformation. This is why keeping cinnamon visible is so important. But here lies a surprising truth. Prosperity does not respond only to symbols. It responds to consistency. Just as a plant needs water not once but regularly, your doorway needs renewal. Cinnamon does not last forever. Its fragrance fades. Its energy weakens. That is why traditions recommend replacing it every few months. Not because it stops working, but because life itself is a cycle. Renewal keeps energy alive. Many people forget this and wonder why results slow down. Renewal is the secret of continuity. There is also a psychological benefit. When you renew your cinnamon, you remind yourself again of your intention. You pause, reflect, and realign. It is like resetting a compass. Without renewal, even the clearest direction can drift. But with it, your life remains tuned. Think of it like personal growth. You do not grow once, you grow continuously. Prosperity, too, is a process, not an event. One surprising statistic shows how powerful ritual renewal can be. In a global study on habits, people who refreshed their environment regularly by changing objects, cleaning spaces, or updating symbols were 43% more likely to achieve their goals than those who did nothing. Why? Because environment shapes behavior. By refreshing symbols like cinnamon, you are not just renewing an object, you are reinforcing a mindset of progress. So let us pause here and ask, when was the last time you consciously renewed something in your life? Not out of necessity, but as a deliberate act of growth. Could it be that part of why prosperity feels absent is because your environment has gone stale, silently repeating the past instead of inviting the new? As you reflect, picture a life where your doorway becomes a living altar. Cinnamon, tied with red, renewed with intention, greeting you every morning and night. How would it feel to know that each time you cross that threshold, you are reinforcing prosperity, not by chance but by design? How would your confidence change? How would your choices expand, knowing that the universe is responding to a space that constantly calls abundance into your life? This is not theory, it is lived truth. Across the world, people who adopt such practices report not only financial shifts, but emotional ones. They feel calmer, more focused, more aligned. They report better sleep, improved mood, even stronger relationships. Why? Because prosperity is not only money, it is the feeling of being supported, the peace of knowing you are connected to something greater. Cinnamon at your door is a symbol of this connection. Each knot, each placement, each renewal is a reminder you are not powerless. You are in dialogue with the universe, and your space speaks louder than you realize. And now, as you hold all this, a deeper question arises. What happens after you place the cinnamon, after you renew it, after you feel the shift? How do you keep the current alive so that prosperity is not only invited, but sustained? This takes us to the next stage of our journey, where you will discover the deeper practices of maintaining this flow, not as a one-time act, but as a way of living, because prosperity, like life, is not a single event, but a rhythm. And once you tune into it, you may find that abundance has been waiting all along just outside your door. As we arrive at this final part of our journey together, take a deep breath and reflect for a moment. Everything you have learned until now has been building toward one truth. Prosperity is not something that visits by chance. It is something that answers the vibration you create daily. Your doorway, your symbols, your choices. Each of these is a message. And when those messages are aligned with clarity and purpose, life responds in ways that often feel miraculous. But miracles are not accidents. They are the natural results of alignment. This is why what you do from this moment on matters more than anything we have said so far. It is not enough to listen, to imagine, or to feel inspired for a short while. True transformation begins when inspiration becomes practice. That is where most people stop. They enjoy the idea but never bring it into action. If you truly want to change the current of your life, you must step beyond thought and into consistent behavior. This is not about perfection. It is about commitment, small steps done with intention, repeated until they become part of who you are. That is how energy is rewritten, how habits are reshaped, and how abundance becomes not a dream, but your reality. So here is a clear plan you can begin to follow, a path to move from reflection to action. Step 1. Prepare your space. Look at your doorway with new eyes. Remove clutter, clean the area, and make it a place that feels alive and welcoming. This act alone has power because it signals that you are ready for something new. Step 2. Choose your cinnamon. Do not overthink it. What matters is that you treat it with respect, knowing it represents more than itself. Step 3. Cleanse and activate it. Use smoke, a candle, or even the power of your breath to declare that it now carries your intention. Hold it in your hands, breathe deeply, and visualize the life you want to build. Step 4. Tie it with a red ribbon or thread, sealing your intention into form. Step 5. Place it inside your door, where you will see it daily. Step 6. Renew it every few months. This keeps the energy alive and reminds you again and again of your choice. These 6 steps may seem simple, but their power lies not in complexity, but in repetition and awareness. Science shows that when we repeat an act connected to emotion and meaning, it creates lasting change in the brain. Ancient wisdom always knew this, which is why rituals exist in every culture. By following this plan, you are not just decorating your home, you are programming your mind, aligning your spirit, and inviting prosperity into every crossing of your threshold. Yet there is another step, one that is often forgotten: reflection. Once you place the cinnamon and begin this practice, watch carefully what begins to change. Notice small opportunities, new ideas, even coincidences that seem too perfect to be accidents. These are signals that the current is shifting. When they happen, acknowledge them, give thanks, and reinforce your intention. Gratitude is the language of continuation. The more you notice and appreciate, the more life continues to respond. But let me ask you now, what will happen if you do nothing? If you finish this video, feel a spark of inspiration, but tomorrow everything goes back to the same? The truth is, nothing will change, and perhaps, deep down, you already know this. That is why I want to speak to the part of you that is tired of waiting, tired of feeling stuck, tired of repeating the same cycle. That part of you deserves more. You are not here by accident. You arrived because something in you is ready, and readiness without action fades into regret. Do not allow that to be your story. Instead, let this be the moment you choose differently. You have the plan, you have the knowledge, and now you have the chance to act. Begin with your doorway, begin with your cinnamon, begin with your choice, because once you take the first step, the next ones will appear naturally. Abundance is not a distant goal. It is a rhythm waiting for you to join, and you join it with one conscious act at a time. I want you to carry this reflection into your daily life. Every time you cross your door, ask yourself, what energy am I bringing in, and what energy am I carrying out? This single question can shift your awareness and remind you of the power you hold. When you start living with this level of presence, you stop being a passive observer of life and become an active co-creator. That is the essence of prosperity, not luck, but alignment. Now, as we close, I invite you to do 3 simple things that will anchor this journey and allow it to continue. First, subscribe to this channel. This is more than pressing a button. It is declaring that you want to stay connected to practices and ideas that expand your awareness and open new possibilities. Second, like this video. It may seem small, but each action you take with intention reinforces your commitment to growth. And third, leave a comment. Share your reflections, your experiences, your doubts, even anonymously if you prefer. Your words carry energy, and by writing them, you create a space of connection, where others may find encouragement in your story, and you may find strength in theirs. Remember this: your life is not static, and your future is not locked. The door before you is waiting. You hold the key, and with each choice, you decide whether to keep it closed or to open it wide to abundance, peace, and transformation. Today, you have learned how. Now it is your turn to act. Subscribe, like, and comment below. This is your moment, and the universe is listening.